Loyalty, a strong feeling of support towards a belief, a person, or a cause. Welcome to Inspire. I'm Sheri Nocelli, and today we're going to talk about loyalty, coming to you from the beautiful Valley Forge. Businesses seek to become the objects of loyalty in order to retain customers. Brand loyalty is a consumer's preference for a particular brand and their repeated coming back. They're repeatedly consuming from the brand. This is going to result in brand growth, brand recognition, and is so important in business. Fan loyalty is a really similar concept. Think about your favorite sports team. Right? No matter how much they lose, how many weeks in a row they're in the bottom, we still wear their colors. We still buy their jerseys. We still root them on even when they're in a slump. That's fan loyalty. The same thing is true for brand loyalty. Think about your favorite phone. Companies that have big fan loyalty, continually those people will come back and back and back. Those consumers will continue to purchase from the brand. Even if a product comes out that maybe isn't all that hot or has glitches, we continually will go back, support the brand through those ups and those downs. That's loyalty, and that's why it's a key ingredient when you're talking about your business. Here's a great example. Think about a favorite magazine, maybe one that you love to read. Maybe it's not in your budget, so you just kind of go to the bookstore, check it out, or maybe you're borrowing it from a friend when they're done, or waiting till you're at the hairdresser because it's on the table, right? But you love to read that magazine. Now, what happens when you go in one day and it's not there? And you ask the store clerk or you ask the hairdresser, hey, where's the magazine? And she says, well, I think they went out of business. There wasn't enough subscriptions. Did you subscribe if you love it so much? And your answer is, well, no, it's not in my budget. I just read it when I'm here. It's that lack of loyalty that will not support the brand. So you really need customer loyalty to always hold up your brand. Have those repeated purchases, have those comeback customers, and that's going to give you stability in your brand, in your business to continue to grow. So here's the question. How do you obtain and retain customer loyalty in your brand, in your business, in your service? Customer service is a huge part of this. If it's your service, if it's your product, you have to make sure you're always reaching out, making sure your customers are happy. Do follow-up phone calls, check in on them, ask for their opinions. You'll grow as an entrepreneur, but you're also going to be growing that relationship with your customer base. That will build loyalty. That will build brand loyalty. That customer will remember you. They will come back to you to purchase a gift, to purchase something for their home, to come back to you for your service. Whatever you're offering, they will remember to come back to you. Oh yeah, Sheri had great customer service. I loved that she followed up with me to check how I'm loving my products. I'm going to go back to her. That's how you build loyalty. It's really about building relationships with your customer base. Of course, you want to make sure you're providing a quality product or service. That for me was key when picking my direct sales company. I knew the product was amazing. I believe in it with all my heart. And sharing it with others has been such a joy because I'm truly so passionate about the product. It also helps that our product is such a wide range product. Everybody can use it in one fashion or another. Male, female, young, older, small house, big house, renter, owner. It doesn't matter. Everybody cooks, everybody has a kitchen, and even if they don't cook, everybody has to eat. So I made sure that I picked a product that I could stand behind. I absolutely love it. I use it every single day in every room of my house. I use it with my family. And because of that, I find that I can easily relate to my customer base. So it's authentic. When I call up a customer, I ask them, how are you loving your product? How are you using it? What's the last thing that you made in it? And we're able to really build up a conversation. In that conversation, we're building up a friendship. In that friendship, we're building customer loyalty, brand loyalty. And it happens where a lot of my customers, most of my customers, come back and they want to purchase more. They want to add to their set. They want to give it as a gift because they love the feeling of the product. They love what it does for their life. They love the customer service. They have loyalty because when they're sharing it with others, that's the biggest compliment you could ask for. When they're coming back to you to purchase more, you can't ask for anything more than that. It's a lot better use of your time to work on building those customer relationships. You'll get referrals, you'll get more sales, you'll get more parties booked, whatever it is. You'll get that from building the relationships. So it's a lot better to use your time building customer loyalty, brand loyalty, than always seeking out new customers. Just harvest those relationships you have. Always build new relationships that will result in loyalty. I truly believe that a really big part of success is being loyal to your brand, to your company, to your product. It's really easy, and I see it all the time, where maybe there's a lack of that loyalty and people jump from company to company. They jump from product to product. This one didn't work, the product wasn't good. This one didn't work, the comp plan wasn't great. This one wasn't working for me because the upline wasn't helping. It's really easy to put blame on everything else, but I think that the root there is loyalty. I'm a great example. I never would have done direct sales if it wasn't. It really came down to that I believe in everything. I believe in the product. I'm loyal to the product. I use it every single day in my house, everywhere. I love our mission. It's all about gathering family together, reconnecting, putting down the electronics, creating memorable moments. And that really connects with me as a busy entrepreneur for 15 years, running, and being tied to a brick and mortar business wasn't fulfilling for me. So when I saw this mission of this company, I said, oh my gosh, that's what I want. That's what I believe in, and that's what I long for. The home office team is amazing. Our founder is an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing inspiration. And when I took all of these things and laid them out on the table, it was a no-brainer for me. I said, I'm doing this. I had loyalty from day one that this is my company, this is my brand, this is what I can stand behind. And because of that, I've seen such success in such a short time. I've built a big team because I constantly am looking to invite people in that can relate to the mission, relate to the products, people that have loyalty, people that are feeling loyal to our mission, to our products, to our comp plan, to everything. And that's, I think, such an important piece of the direct sales, the entrepreneur, the business owner's puzzle. Is loyalty, of course, in your customer base, to how you treat your customers, building those relationships. But it also comes down to loyalty from you to your brand. If you're not feeling that loyalty to your brand, maybe it's not the right company for you. So I encourage you, develop that loyalty where you're at. Maybe you had it and you lost it, get back to that feeling. But if you're not finding it, find something that you can have that passion for. Find that company that you can devote your loyalty to. And that's when you will start to grow your success. You'll start to attract like-minded people. That's when the magic will happen. Here's the big takeaway this week. Are you building loyalty to your brand? Are you loyal to your brand yourself, or your company, or your products? Through the severe winter of 1777, 11,000 troops were stationed right here in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. And it was because of their loyalty to their cause, to their patriotism, and to their leader, George Washington, that they were able to survive the harsh conditions. Right here in these Muhlenberg huts is where they hunkered down and stuck together. And it was through that loyalty that they were able to get through and go on to win the battle the following spring. The conditions were harsh, cold, there weren't enough supplies for everybody, and soldiers were crammed 12 to a small cabin. It was really difficult to get through, but Washington made sure to rally the troops who were suffering from diseases, starvation, cold. It was tough. Though the conditions were so harsh, Washington was able to rally the troops, to build up their spirits, to bring them back together, and through their loyalty to him, they were able to get through. It's a beautiful day here in Valley Forge, but you can imagine in the harsh winter conditions what those 12,000 soldiers had to go through. Only 1 in 4 soldiers had shoes. The soldiers' main shelter were the cabins. The first cabin was put up in 3 days, but each cabin took 80 logs to construct. So it was no easy feat. They really had to come together as a group to make sure that everyone had shelter. And not everyone would survive this winter, but they all came together to make it happen. The soldiers only had very limited amounts of bread and meat to survive. Some of them only had access to fire bread, a mixture of water and flour. The conditions were so severe at times that Washington said that unless some great and capital change suddenly takes place, this army must inevitably dissolve, starve, or disperse in order to survive the best they can. The snow that winter was both a blessing and a curse. It's how they melted down to get drinking water, but also with all of the freezing and refreezing going on, soldiers were damp and it caused disease to spread. Hundreds of soldiers grew ill and were starving to death. Behind me is George Washington's headquarters where he stayed for those 6 months here at Valley Forge. Many times he would gather together 25 or more people for a meal or a meeting. Generals would come here, soldiers would come here, everyone would gather here with their leader. And it was through that that he was able to continue to build loyalty throughout the community and the army. Exactly 6 months after they arrived, a revitalized army left Valley Forge and headed towards New Jersey. Barely a week later, they forced the British from the field in the Battle of Monmouth. The Valley Forge encampment proved to be a turning point in the Revolutionary War, testing the perseverance of George Washington and his troops, and paving the way for ultimate victory in the war for American independence.
Strong families have a sense of devotion and loyalty towards each other. They stick together. When they're being attacked by someone or the outside world or just life, they stick together as a unit. Through good times and bad, sickness and health, rich and poor. Sound familiar? The family is a place of shelter for the individual members. When one member is having a downtime, everybody comes together to support them. In a strong family anyway. And in times of celebration, the whole family is there to cheer on the great times. In times of personal success and personal defeat, a strong family will come together to support the individuals. That's loyalty. It's amazing how the loyalty within the family unit that we experience as children and teens tends to form how we will treat loyalty as we grow up and create families of our own. And it's really amazing that as soon as you meet somebody new out and about in your everyday life, you can really get a sense of loyalty from someone just in that first conversation. And this is just part of evolution, that we are able as humans to kind of not judge, but we're able to pick up on that from someone, because that's going to really determine what type of relationship we're going to go forward and have with this person in our future, as a friend, as a partner, as a business partner. So it's a really awesome thing that we can pick up on it so quickly. And you know what? Sometimes we're wrong. We are human. But that initial reaction, when you have that gut feeling about someone, is really when those first forms of loyalty are picked up on, and sometimes that bond is created. There is a statistic that 80% of relationships fail because of a lack of loyalty. So again, as a society, we really should focus on loyalty to everyone around us, every business, and think about the success that everybody would have if we all stepped up and were loyal. We're loyal to what? Our hairdressers. I know I sure am. We're loyal to everyone that we can get something from. But don't forget that when you're being loyal to someone, you're giving them a gift. So if you really care about someone, which you should if they're in your life, then think about, just take a step back and be loyal to them. Going to that mom and pop coffee shop, or your hairdresser and not cheating on her, which I would never do, is huge. It's huge because you're building that relationship. And we always go back. Always. Everything we talk about goes back to building healthy, strong relationships. Loyalty is key. I believe that loyalty within the family, or I should just say life in general, is no better way displayed than with my good friend and her dream house. So we had fun out in Valley Forge, but it was a little hot. And I said, you know what? Let's go take a visit to my BFF in the dream house over here, because I think she could teach us a thing or two about loyalty in life. Let's go see if she's home. I think she's home. I know, it seems silly, but hear me out. How many of us grew up playing with our little BFF here? Yeah, girl, right? Our little go-to friend. But think about her story. Think about her whole storyline. If you ask me, the root of it is loyalty. Here she is, everyone's best friend. But think about her best friends. She's got Teresa and she's got Midge, and they have stuck with her for years because they're loyal friends to each other. They've got each other's back. Think about her whole, I guess, love life. A lot of times Barbie is on dates. A lot of times she has kids, and she's a very loyal mother. She will provide them the most gorgeous house with their own loft bedroom, which I'm pretty jealous of. Did you see that wallpaper? How stylish is that? Always providing the best experiences for her family and her kids. She is there. She is a devoted, loyal mother and creates that sense of loyalty within her family. You always see her girls, Kelly and Stacy and Skipper. They are BFFs, always hanging out together, and that is from the family culture. And then the kicker is, as much as Barbie is out on the town, we're not sure who dad is of these amazing, fine young daughters. But through all of that, she always maintains her loyal relationship to her one and only hunk. There he is. So, who shall remain nameless. So while she's out on, while she's out on the town with her friends, male and female, she always has her go-to main squeeze to come back to. And there's something to say about that relationship, because loyalty keeps these two together and keeps them strong. And maybe she could make some better choices to keep her family strong, but I think she's doing a mighty fine job and living her life and looking fabulous, girl. All right, here, you guys were having a martini or something. There you go. So the whole point, and I know, like I said, it seems a little silly, but we can learn a lot by looking at things around us. Look at people around us. Look at culture around us, like here, pop culture, guys. The root of everything comes down to loyalty. So try to mirror that in your life with your family, with your husband, or your spouse, with your business partners, with companies that you love, anything that you love. How about that? If you love someone or something, then loyalty is one of the best gifts you can give back to them. Loyalty is an important trait in any relationship, in love, in family, in business, any area in life. But many of us don't give it enough attention or enough credit for what it actually means. Think about the definition. The word loyalty is defined as the state or quality of being loyal, faithfulness to commitments or obligations. Ancient philosophers spoke about loyalty all the time, but in today's society, we tend to put our focus on other words and other attributes such as honesty, faithfulness, devotion, truth, family. But the root of all of those traits is loyalty. Now, our little friend here should really maybe be a little more careful in her life, because one of the very worst things you could ever do is be disloyal. Did you hear that? If you can't promise to be a loyal person to someone, how can you expect loyalty in return? She would have it coming to her if she found out that Mr. here was going on some dates himself. And you know what? Maybe he is. But for all her faults, I have to say she is an amazing mother, as we just said, right? Such an amazing mother. And teaching loyalty to your children is one of the greatest gifts that you could ever do. For a child, loyalty is a very abstract concept. As they build relationships with family members, that sense of loyalty will begin to grow and they will have more of an understanding. By showing your support and dependability, you pave the way as a parent for your child to learn the trait of loyalty. Little things like treating each other with compassion and kindness throughout the home will help build this up. Children will naturally develop feelings of loyalty towards their parents if they feel the love and guidance. This loyalty then expands to include siblings, extended family, friends, and teachers. Living in a crazy, overscheduled world of playdates, sports, lessons, school, all of these things, family time is what is suffering. Finding the balance of the modern society's kind of schedule, if you will, finding the balance between that and family time is of the utmost importance. Children need time to develop strong bonds with family members, and the only way to do this is through focused family time together. Have a family game night or a movie night. Have a family dinner together at least once a week. While these activities seem really simple, they actually are really important because they're creating a sense of cohesiveness as a family. We live in a culture of just sarcasm and negativity. A lot of things that we hear on a daily basis are just downright negative. This is everything from news, which I hear this all the time, people saying that, like, the news is always negative, where's the good news? But even down to family programming these days is full of sarcasm and fighting and attitude. And it's just really different than when we grew up. I remember growing up with, TGI Friday. And every Friday night, our family would gather around and watch all of these wholesome shows. So make it a point to introduce your children to more positive influences. Or if you aren't a parent, just make it a point to introduce yourself to more positive influences. Constantly watching negative shows and hearing negative things has an impact on you. So it's important to develop that culture of positivity. I know for us as a family, when we sit down at night for the 1 hour of TV that we watch together, we have gone back and started watching shows from the 90s like Full House, because they are wholesome. They teach lessons and they're endearing and we laugh. Whereas the shows on now, like I said, are just full of sarcasticness that I don't want my kids picking up on. That's not the culture I want them to grow up with. We grew up with shows from, like Seventh Heaven and all these great shows, and I think we turned out pretty good, our generation. But you know what? Take that a step further. Take those lessons that you're giving through culture and help your children apply them to real life situations. So help them to write a note of appreciation towards a coach or a teacher or a friend. Help them to show acts of gratitude. Kids learn loyalty more by what you do than what you say. One of the best parts about family is that a child's sense of family loyalty starts with their parents and their siblings, but then it naturally extends to grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, and family longtime friends. So make it a point to share amazing family memories from when you were growing up. Make it a point to share how much that relationship meant to you, having those family bonds. And what you're doing is, again, you're showing by example. It's what you do, right? So you're sharing stories of how you built up family loyalty and family relationships. And you're kind of just instilling that in your children through stories, because one of my favorite sayings is facts tell, but stories sell. So think of it as selling loyalty to your children. Share those stories with them so that they buy the idea of loyalty and start to be an active customer. So take action with your family by telling those stories, sharing traditions. That's my favorite. Share those longtime family traditions. And, hang pictures of your family, play old family movies, go through photo albums. These activities strengthen your child's sense of family and builds loyalty. Sooner or later, every family goes through some tough times, maybe unemployment, loss of a loved one, something negative that as parents we tend to want to shield our children from. But when handled appropriately, these events can actually be some of the most powerful moments to help bring families together, to strengthen the family bond and the family loyalty. What on earth does loyalty with our beautiful family here living in the dream house and the troops with George Washington at Valley Forge have to do with each other? You might think I'm crazy, but this goes back to one of my most favorite sayings that I always keep in mind. The strength of a family, like the strength of an army, is in its loyalty to each other.
Loyalty is such a key ingredient to finding balance in your business, in your home, in your family, and the balance of everything together. Let's add loyalty into our intention box this week, and remember to always find what inspires you. If loyalty is an ingredient that's lacking in your business plan right now, let's work on it. And I will help you do that. Visit SheriNocelli.com, download the worksheet from today's show called Loyalty. It'll have some prompts, it'll have some questions, it'll have things to help you really decide, are you where you want to be? How do you get where you want to be? It'll also have some notes from today's show. So go ahead and download that. And let's connect. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, send me a message. I would love to chat with you. And as always, I encourage you to find what inspires you. Let's create a balanced life together. Hanging out?
Yes.
This
Put
is
your bum
natural.
to the cannon. Do a funny one. Just hanging out in the cannon.
Is that the whole blurb?
Yep.
Cool. Men. Well, blah, blah, blah. All right. I don't know, I said men. Men!